Hey there, Shrine Runners! Hello, and welcome to the Fox Shrine. I'm Araxis, your host, and tonight we're going to be playing some more Limbus Company. Hey there, Ada. Hey, Kuro. Hey, Gabe. Welcome. Hope you're all doing all right. I'm doing pretty well. The other Shadow Runners? Your Shrine Runners. Shadow Runners are a completely different thing, Kuro. Someone's not listening, or maybe just don't come across well, unfortunately. Hey, Poppy, how you going? Congratulations on finishing Canto 1. Hopefully the game's treating you all right. I know that you said you weren't necessarily up for like more gacha games or anything like that. Not happy with the ending. I will say that the game does start off a bit more grim than later on it is. Cause yeah, I think a lot of people are not happy with how Canto 1 ended. Hold on. Let me just bring up the game. Like, it's to the point that they actually went so far as to
조이 하나가 끊어졌네요. 이제 좀 수월해지겠어요.
as to include a Yuri announcer. So, yeah. And also, I do totally understand, Poppy, about undoing deaths. I do not like it when pieces of media try to treat death as something that's easy to undo, I guess. If you're gonna kill someone, kill them properly. 'Cause death has to mean something. I will say that death is often a boring thing that you can do to someone. Because once you've killed them, once you've killed a character, you can't do anything more to them, I guess. But yeah. And yes, Skylar, I did absolutely see that about the French PM. Clearly, France is trying to beat Australia in terms of how many PMs they can go through in a year. All the best to getting rid of the same guy again. And also all the best to getting rid of Macron, because Macron doesn't seem to understand that he is a compromise a compromise president. Because the left certainly don't want him, the right don't want him. The left were the ones who were able to sort of go into partnership with him, and he's basically screwed them over. So, fuck him. I count it as two separate instances of PM, Skylar. Also, congratulations, Gabe, on going through Canto 6. Let me just refresh myself on which one that one was. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good Canto. All the best with that one. While I am ahead of Canto 6, I have not done that one on stream, so I will be doing that at some point. Yeah, I can totally see that being the standard thing that might happen, Poppy. But I do like that's not what happened as well. As sad as it was to have Yuri die, because I like Yuri. She was a great companion. Anyway, feel free to keep chatting, of course, everyone. But I am gonna go get started with our event over here. And we're over there. We were up to here. Vessel Masas. So, I've got our pre-battle over here, so let's go. Oh, big! 634 kind of kicked your ass. I was generally pretty good with Canto 6. Probably the Cantos that I had the most issues with were Canto 5 for obvious reasons. I didn't suffer as badly as a lot of people did, but it did pose an issue. The most recent one was also tricky. And surprisingly, one of the intervalos, the check-in intervalo, that one had a difficult fight, as well as a difficult EX objective. So, yeah. First unexpected thing in the whole Canto, and it made you hate it even more than you ordinarily would have. Because it was unexpected? I also was really not ready for just how dang long dungeons were. Yeah, generally dungeons are pretty long. They're not. They are something that you don't have to sit down and do all at once. You are able to exit dungeons and go back into them from basically where you left off. So don't feel like you have to do it all in one go. I've definitely not done them all in one go, whether on stream or on my own, because it's a lot. First floor 2 days ago, and the other... Yeah, okay. Yeah, just think of them as the second half of the Canto, essentially, because, like, yeah, they do tend to be quite lengthy. As Dante says, it's so big. Amazing. I didn't know that there were remaining vessels of this class in Iberia. I spy her name here. Is called by the name Rebellion de la Masas. Rebellion de la Masas. Revolt of the Masses, is it? Name very much wide and peculiarity indeed. Canto 2 is thankfully a bit more light-hearted, I would say, Poppy. If I had to describe Canto 2, I would describe Canto 2 as being like a heist that tabletop RPG players engage in and immediately fuck up, while the GM is constantly face-palming at the antics of the players as they muddle around and try and achieve what they thought to be a very simple mission. I really like Canto 2. It's really good for both, like lightening the emotions after going through Canto 1, as well as characterizing the sinners a bit more. So hopefully you enjoyed that one as much as I did. And yeah, I know very little about Arknights as well, except that there's magic crystal cancer. Onglu chimed in that he was rather fond of it, with its size being about the same as the boat from his home, while Ishmael quickly jumped in to correct us that its size alone wasn't anything special at the Great Lake. But it was still pretty big compared to Mephi or the Indigo Elder's skiff. thought it was going to be somewhere around Mephi's size at most. Are you sure you can get this ship fixed in a day or two? As I briefed you yesterday, the great majority of the time-consuming repairs had already been completed by the villagers. The extent of our repair efforts only concerns a few components within the vessel that the villagers could not repair, which shouldn't take us much time. Unless parts that are unfamiliar to Faust are also malfunctioning, such as the core engine, remaining repairs should be sufficiently managed by Faust. Despite Otis's confident declaration, I could not help but feel oddly unsettled as I looked at the ship. I don't know why, but something tells me that we don't want to linger here for too long. Still, please be thorough about it, just in case. I'd rather not sit on a sinking ship again. The experience at the Great Lake was enough. Oh, and Poppy, if you feel like it, you can go ahead and add my Limbus friend code if you feel like you want to use like support characters. It's on the UI when you're sort of like setting up a party that you can choose to take along a support character if you want. Personally, I've rarely felt the need to do so, but the option is there if you want to. I'll just let me know if you do so, and I'll add you. Occurs to you that unless you're completely mistaken, Limbus Company can't have guest characters due to the way it's designed. What do you mean by guest characters here? Just so that I can properly understand what you're getting at. I'd rather not sit on a sinking ship again. The experience at the Great Lake was enough. Do not worry, Dante. Unlike Mephistopheles, most functions of this vessel, buoyancy gear, propellers, steering gear, are all in operational capacity. This repair should be much easier than the case with Mephistopheles. They seem confident enough. Should be safe this time around, right? Are we taking that rope to climb up to the ship? No. There's a lift-like apparatus down here. It should take us up to the ship. It's only the sinners who can be slotted into a team. You just swap out their identities to make them different characters. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure how to best answer that question. I will say that there are ways to have guest characters in the game. It doesn't happen often, but there is a way for them to do it. Its stability was verified yesterday. Let us board the lift. You're 100% certain, right? The boat is afloat right now, Dante. I don't think it'll be sinking anytime soon. Wouldn't that be nice? Oi, you two just gotta faff about down there? We're heading up now. No, we're going with you. As I made my way into the vessel's bridge, I was greeted by the extravagant interior that was as gaudy as its exterior. This isn't real gold, is it? Oh, sure as shiny as heck in here. Oh, I've got butterflies in my stomach. A.S. Aesthetically satisfying, she says. Too ostentatious. Not quite my style. Our young Mephi is also quite the excellent vessel, yet imagine the adventures we could embark on aboard this vessel, most lavishly decorated. As Faust and Otis were working on one of the control panels, Ishmael walked up to another and interfaced with it before giving a knowing nod. This must have been an investigative or research vessel of sorts. But it does seem a bit extravagant for one of those, though. Look, coordinates. Updating in real time, it seems. The coordinates seem to have been set to somewhere out in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it points to a small islet? Nope! No islet there! What? Why me, lass? Oh, you sure know how to sneak up on people. Mares! Haha! What? Did I actually surprise you? I did ask if you guys were going to come fix the boat today. Still, I know you'd be here. Why are the coordinates set to this location? There are several undersea cities beneath those coordinates, collectively known as Aegir. Gramps' home. I see. Understood. What was understood, if I may ask? It is now understood why the promise to repair this ship was sufficient to earn their trust and the title of saviors. But yeah, feel free to ask me any questions if you want the answers to them, and let me know like how spoilery you want my answers to be if you do want me to talk about them, but in a more limited way. Always happy to chat about the game. Oh, what's she on about? Someone get translating. Consolidating and cross-referencing the observed particular circumstances of the village and the statements from the village chief, alongside information garnered from the exchange with mayors, it is possible to gauge the significance this ship's repair has to the local populace. Of course, while this may constitute a sequence of logical connections that poses a certain challenge for Heathcliff to comprehend, to employ any degree of effort to attempt to explain it in more digestible language constitute a pursuit of inefficiency. You what? Lower the baton, I implore you. I shall explain it in full. Ugh. I was wondering when Miss Smartass would start gabbing like that again. So, what's she on about? Heathcliff's shoulders were relaxed. Didn't seem like he was actually going to swing the bat. He placed it lightly over his shoulder with a sigh. Yeah, poor Heathcliff indeed. No worries, Poppy. I totally respect that because I also don't really like spoilers for a game. So, But yeah, I am happy to share like general tones of cantos because different cantos have different tones. Absolutely, not always related to the source material, but like if you're familiar with the source material, you can sort of get an idea of it. Oh, Poppy, if you ever get the chance, check out the second April Fool's event for Limbus Company. There's a really funny sequence with Charon right at the end. I might sort of save that for after Canto 6, perhaps. But yeah, that's really good. I don't think it's sort of like in the game anymore because it was like a brief sort of like April Fool's thing. which is unfortunate. I'd love if they sort of like kept them in like the files or whatever. Yeah, Charon's great. I love her. Heathcliff's shoulders were relaxed. It didn't seem like he was actually going to swing the bat. He placed it lightly over his shoulder with a sigh. A brief observation of the village seemed to suggest that their subsistence situation was quite dire. Much of their daily sustenance consisted of dried food, most of them made for long-term storage purposes. Considering what Skadi said about how the coastal areas are full of danger, maybe those dried seafood aren't from around here either. Maybe it's food they packed when they first came to Faro Muerto. Some villagers were armed, yeah. And those sea terrors weren't exactly that formidable, but given the state the villagers are in, I doubt they'd have an easy time repelling those monsters. Indeed. And that brings us to the question of sustenance. What happened with Snowbreak became doubly angry knowing any content at all has vanished. Yeah. I really do not like when content vanishes from a game. I do know that they are planning on re-implementing some of the old Refraction Railway content. That's sort of like hardcore, like end game content that they've got in the game that they sort of like have go for like a few months, and then it sort of gets rolled into the mirror dungeon. But they're planning on putting the style of that, the first one back in, apparently, from interviews with, not interviews, but like a presentation from the director. So that's nice. I don't care so much about Refraction Railway so much as I really think that the April Fool's stuff should just be available, but thankfully I do know that they are available on YouTube to watch, but yeah. Right. I get what's going on here. Lass and her granddad are to visit their hometown, and they're trying to get some food supplies from there to feed the villagers and convince them that they're planning to use the fact that they're from the same neck of the woods. Or sea, I guess. Oh, so we're not just repairing their ship, we're repairing their food supply plan too. Huh? What's wrong? It's, while the expressions were rather crude, Heathcliff's summary of the situation was clear, to the point, and easily understood. The sinners stared at him with mild surprise. He's not dumb! Heathcliff is not dumb. He's just not book smart. And I did too. What's with them annoying looks? Wait. Are you sots? You don't think I'm that dim-witted, do you? Top-notch intuition. It's just that, it's been a while since you've shown this side of yourself. Thinking back, Heathcliff's intuition's always been excellent, and it often put together surprisingly accurate conclusions with impressive speed. Thank you, Ada. You know, when you really think about it, it's kind of your fault for... Ah! Oh, I've been too soft on you lately, haven't I? Oi! Get back here! Now, with those fools out of the conversation, was he correct? Otis looks away from the usual chaos and asks Mares, honestly, I'm surprised. He was on point. Yeah, Food's been running low in the village. At this rate, he won't last another year. But the Aegir will... I'm sure they'll welcome us with open arms. I don't want to come off like I'm overly worried, but... do you think they'll welcome the others, too? Unlike mayors or chief, they're... not Aegir. I believe they will. Inferior suspects and hates the Aegir for no other reason than that we're from the sea, but... our home cannot have fallen so low as to abandon a group of starving land dwellers. Prithee, might thou explain to us who the Aegir are? I had initially thought it to be a reference to a region, yet it also seems to refer to an affiliation of sorts. Maybe there's something like nest dwellers? Though I don't think I've heard of a nest that accepts Backstreet's people with open arms. Or maybe there used to be some rich folk? Oh, they call them Nest Toffs Aegir here. Then does that make the rabbit ears less Aegir too? Wait, in the world you came from, do they not distinguish between races? That is not entirely true. A delineation between races is a concept that does exist. Though I only saw them in the Fathoms, there were those terrifying things called the cuckoo spawns. However, as a general rule, it can be said that humans are... humans should be the only intelligent life forms in the city. The people of Terra have slightly varying appearances depending on their race, like my Cortus ears. And I've got pointed ears because I'm an Aegir, though it's not a characteristic every Aegir shares. The closest idea of what they are discussing appears to be, Don Quixote seemed to be struggling to finish her sentence. Masas stepped in to continue. Via context clues and the manner of word usage, including the means of classification, the closest example in our world would be blood fiends. Similar external appearances to humans, different natures, comparable sapience. 'Tis of my belief that blood fiends are ostracized due to their nature, that maketh coexistence with humans difficult. It may be that the Aegir are also. I'm sure some of them do possess qualities that make coexistence with others difficult, but they're probably rare. She is very loud. Have you been jump scared by Don shouting at the title screen yet? But yeah, 100% feel you there. Don Quixote is probably my second favorite character. I mentioned this before, but I bought two Limbus plush toys of my two favorite sinners, being Otis and Don Quixote. But yeah, Don's great. I love her. I like all the sinners, to be honest. They're all great. Then wherefore are they made subjects of suspicion and hatred? That's... oh, well, the language is new, but the idea itself is pretty familiar to the city folks like us. Not on the title screen yet, but there was a Don jump scare in Canto 1 after Charon's somber voice. Gotcha, yeah. It's been a long time, so I don't quite recall that one. But yeah, Don is a very loud person. Hey Yoshi, how you going? Oh, what one's almost here? Is there a Limbus announcement about something being almost here? Think of feathers of fallen wings. spawn in the back streets. People who replace their body parts with prosthetics. The form differs, yet in its essence, we find the thread. The moment the Kanto comes out, gonna buy the battle pass. It'd be the last 2 seasons, but this time you're short. Like, if you are going to spend money on the game, generally the battle pass is pretty good value for money. So, And I mean, obviously nothing necessarily stopping you from getting the current one, and then you'll sort of like benefit from like whatever was sort of like in there already that you've achieved. Hold on now. Did they actually announce Aleph Ego? Give me a moment. Better not be trolling me, Ryoshu. Not official, but all the Valve slots have been filled out for the sinners. Okay. Well, I mean, we're definitely going to be getting there soon. That's for sure. We've got, what, 4 cantos left. Gonna do it now. They probably won't have a chance to do it in the future, given we're encroaching on the end. I suppose it'll take them a while to sort of like go through them all, right? The educated guesses. Gotcha. Something about how we keep finding these similarities in the ways of our lives, despite finding ourselves in a distant world with different rules, races, and humans. Felt oddly discomforting. The point is, you guys are doing us a real solid by fixing up the ship. Let's move on from these gloomy conversations, okay? I want to show you the cooler parts of this ship. This way, the ship tour may have to wait. The repairs are almost completed, but an issue has arisen. Issue? Wow, that's not reassuring at all. Multiple life forms identified ahead, assumed to be a Sea Terror horde. The ship's radar system seems to suggest that the vessel is surrounded. They're the same monsters from yesterday. Executive Manager, please order us to prepare for battle. Are they the Sea Terrors you encountered? They look a bit different, but yeah, probably. There's a lot of them, but if our last experience tells us anything, we should be able to handle this. Mia, please support us in battle like you did yesterday. Let's now fight, young mares. I feel like I'm just gonna get in your way. Then, guys, find a place to keep mares as far as possible from the battle. And let's hurry down there. Don't want them damaging the ship any further. Alright. So let me just quickly, because we've got another battle over here. Yeah, so let's just do the second one, and then we'll do the post-battle story for this. And we can sort of get through things a little bit quicker, okay? Yeah. I haven't sort of altered my team or anything, so let's go. Yeah, we've got just more like sea reefers and all that. These ones don't attack immediately, but they respond later on. Dante is considered a sinner, yes. Even if Dante, as the manager, isn't getting directly involved in combat, Dante is 100% considered one of the sinners. Dante, like if you pay attention to Dante's clothes, Like, you can even see, like, the number sinner that they are. Rocco's a cool guy, though. I definitely like him. Yeah, this is a complicated battle, so I'm just gonna go through like that.
또 3번 수감자가 헛짓이라도 했나 보군.
Gradual build on his fun.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 쳐서 변한 맛이
That's a little annoying over there. Finish them off.
한 번에 우리를 점하실 수 있죠? 이 뜻이라면 이번 그림도 무난히 심판금의 움직임
40.
두말할 것 없이 100점 만점입니다, 아가씨.
이런 것쯤이면 눈 감고
창의적인 발상이군. 그래도 가급적 전투 중에 떠올리진 않았으면 좋겠는데.
Go there and there.
사격 개시.
And the game's lying about how effective letting sinners choose their actions is.
가끔 신나 노래 부를까?
지키기 위해서
I did change the tutorial since I played.
강호 유람기에서
So,
이렇게 일이 쉽게
like, it doesn't claim that it's like not as effective as you or anything. It's like there are definitely reasons why you would
놀이가 아니야.
choose things manually for yourself. Hold on. For example, over here, it's whether I choose win rate or damage rate, it's going to pick this attack for Heathcliff over here. But the thing about this one is you might not necessarily want to use it immediately because actually, like this is the perfect chance to sort of like show off why I wouldn't want to use it. Because this guy only has 2 HP. It's going to use that ability, and he's only got 1 shot of that. After that, he loses his teleologic ammo. So, yeah, there's reasons why you would want to not use win rate or damage. Like, it's a simple way of doing things really quick, but generally can get better results, especially once you know the game,
타겟 포착.
by doing things manually.
너도 누군가에겐 아껴졌겠지만
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지.
지킬 게 많아.
give it a pat.
히스카이프 지금
쏜다.
이 정도쯤이야?
Project Moon's previous game, Library of Ruiner,
당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고.
plays in a
최근에
similar
말씀드렸죠.
way to this,
저는 언제나 모르는 일만
except instead of like assigning IDs to characters, you get to assign like whole decks to them, so you've got a lot more customization ability in terms of gameplay.
타겟 포착.
I probably recommend playing it if you get the chance. It's a very good game.
지식인.
첫
Fast remarked that usually less effective in choosing Sinner's actions and can.
매일 보아하고도
깔끔한 헤드샷. 머리통이 적살났다고.
Faust is right, however, when she says that using those buttons can lead to disaster. Because those edge cases, I think, are really important to be aware of.
먼저 빠진다.
이제야 회사가 정상으로 돌아갔네.
I'll bring up one of
이번
those
제압은 끝이야.
right now,
너희들도
actually.
고생 많았어. 티페리트, 너도.
그 정도 화력으로
Okay,
우리
so we've,
사무소를 막을
finished
수 있을
that.
줄 알았냐?
Okay.
저놈들 무기까지 줘서
So, over here, we have a character over here. Our Corp 4th Pack Reindeer Ishmael, okay? Now, she has a skill over here called Mind Whip. At combat start, spend 8 charge count. All of her skills sort of like build up charge count for her. If at less than 8 charge count at combat start, target a random unit for an unopposed attack. So yeah, she's definitely memed on for killing your own team. It's weird that you don't have any examples of that when it's brought up. Okay. Fair enough. And like that's the sort of thing that would be good for starting off with a character like that, because I find that like saying that early on and not providing any examples of it means that the lesson won't necessarily be driven home to the player. So you'll forget about that, and you'll either listen to them and then not use win rate and all that and miss out on tools, or you'll forget about it, just start using win rate because you see that there's no punishment, and then you'll get tripped up on like a R Corp Ishmael or R Corp, a W Corp Don or other characters. Overdrive or overclock ego attacks. Useless in the tutorial because you can't use it and you don't know why I can't use it. Okay. So to go over overclock ego attacks, how you use it, and generally you probably don't want to be using overdrive, because usually like staying in normal mode is better. Sometimes you want to use overdrive, but overdrive does cost more than the standard ego use. So the way you use it is you sort of hold down on the ego when you're selecting it, and it uses, I think, like 50% more ego resources or double the ego resources. I can't quite recall off the top of my head. And also the starting Zayn egos that everyone starts off with, like Snag Harpoon, Representation Emitter, they don't have any overclock. So that's probably also a reason why you can't use it. I don't know if the tutorial made you use like an overclock, because you don't start off with any like ego abilities or anything like that. Hey Luke, how you going? Limbus company indeed, Don. Yeah, like I'm not going to, as much as I like Project Moon as a company, tutorials have never been their strong suit. And like overclocking egos wasn't actually a thing that existed at the start of the game. It's something that they sort of like added in sort of like a bit later on. So they've clearly sort of like made an attempt to redo the tutorial to say that overclocking is a thing that you can do, but like obviously, like at the start of the game, you don't have the resources to overclock. So it's sort of like another example of them trying to sort of like explain something that's not relevant to you right now, unfortunately. I get why they're doing it, because they don't necessarily know when the player is going to acquire a new ego, I guess, to add in a tutorial for it. But yeah. Also that other thing where you can force the ego instead of use the corrode attack. Yeah, that's the overclocking. That's the overclocking, Poppy. Overclocking is use the corrode attack, so it's not a separate thing. Like it's the same thing. Can't acquire new ego until after Canto 2. All right. I know that it can show up in extractions, and also you can sort of get it from dispensing. So you can go over here and buy ego with shards. I've been playing the game long enough that I've been able to shard basically all the ego that I want. So that's not something I have to sort of worry about. I don't have Thorakalgia actually. I'll purchase that later. When the next Canto comes out, that should become available for purchase, and I can just buy that with my thing. The one that costs more than normal and is stronger, and the one that makes corrode attacks happen. One you use when the ego is available, one you use when the ego isn't available. Oh, they're the same thing. Overclocking is using the corrode attack when you aren't insane. And this is a tutorial sort of made out that there's a difference, which there isn't. Corrosion happens when you hit negative 45 sanity. That's just something that you can't help or anything. Okay. The way you said it made it sound like you thought they did the same thing. Okay. If I get enough ego resources to show off an overclock, I'll try and do that for you just to sort of demonstrate. But yeah, we've got our post-battle story over here, so let's get into that, shall we? The remaining entities have all returned to sea. Is everyone okay? It was just like our last skirmish. Sea terrors that had surrounded the ship returned to sea even before the battle came to an end. Okay, cool. Glad to clarify things for you. Yeah, it's the disadvantage of trying to make a comprehensive tutorial before players either have the experience to understand what's going on, or even the ability to do what you have just explained. There's an art to crafting tutorials, and our PM doesn't necessarily have that talent. Yep, so sea terrors that have surrounded the ship returned to sea even before the battle came to an end. And their retreat felt too orderly and deliberate to be just running away. It's almost like they're making a tactical retreat. We're doing peachy, but what about the ship? Val, is the ship okay? Minor damages to the hull, but nothing that will impede the ship's operational capabilities. Just give me a quick moment. Okay, sorry about that. Still got a little bit of a blocked nose from recovering from a cold. Just had to fix that up. Sorry if that's affecting my voice quality or anything like that. Phew. So, I noticed during the battle, I might be wrong, of course, but I think I noticed how around the end of the battle, those monsters were starting to go after the manager? You're probably right, actually. I noticed too. At some point during our battle, those monsters realize that it's the manager who's commanding the rest of us. I sensed the very same. The movements were fluid and adaptive, as though they were learning our behavior. Why does the Church of the Deep worship monsters like them? Oh, that ain't much of a question, innit? I must have all gone mental. I'm sure they have many reasons, but Seaborns are beings of infinite potential. So much so that there's no superlative big enough to properly convey the scale. As organisms, they can endlessly evolve and adapt. Every time they encounter a new environment or a new element, they transform themselves and other Seaborns. Maybe that's their draw. That fascination may be an attitude most befitting a researcher. Yet, the transformation of fascination into idolatry is, if I may be frank, not entirely positive. I agree with you, Sam, here. Studying a creature like that would absolutely be interesting as hell. But to worship something like that? No. To become something like that? Also, no. Like, if like that worship is to like become more like the Seaborn, that's a path towards becoming Grey Goo, and I don't know. I like being myself. I find them pretty uncomfortable. They just remind me of whales. Then, can they adapt to learn a language to communicate with us? What? Going by everything we heard, I think they sound really smart. Mare's eyes went round at Hong Lu's suggestion. She brought her hands to her mouth, surprised. It sure was something. I heard that there was a Seaborn who could talk. If non-humans speak the language of humans, regardless of its testament to their intelligence, I can only think of two possibilities as to why they would. One, to communicate with humans. The other, to deceive humans. More often than not, it's the latter. What about distortions? Some of them already know how to speak. Distortions are phenomena in which humans transform into monstrous forms, are first observed after the White Knights and Dark Days incident. Therefore, that example is irrelevant to Otis's supposition. White Knights, Dark Days. She whispered quietly, but as we were standing rather close to her, we all caught on to the hint of joy in her voice. The pillar of light in the city. Did it really? How have you come across this knowledge, Miss Mares? Oh, that's... Oh, ain't it obvious? Oh, we got a culprit right here. Storyteller lass who's been gabbing on with no end. Yeah, she's been talking non-stop all morning about all kinds of stories, hasn't she? Oh, yet I have not gotten that far. Ooh. Alright. That's possibly really bad. If I believe Dawn if she's saying that she did not talk about White Knights and Dark Days. If Mares is aware of that, then that doesn't bode well. Either she is from the city originally and is lying to us, or there's a little voice talking to her. about these things. You again. You didn't get so lost in your own stories that you blabbed all about our company's secrets, have you? Nay! Fear, I would simply not! As Don Quixote was subject to yet another round of scolding, Amir stared out towards the sea, wary that sea terrors might start crawling to the surface once again, before turning towards us. I wonder which of the two the Seaborns are. Their sense of self is really, really faint, so I don't think that'd be in either category. I think it's possible that they learned human language out of instinct, that the power of speech might help them survive. It appears that you, Miss Mares, are quite the expert on the subject of Seaborns. Your knowledge of them goes beyond what fear for one's survival may yield, thereby suggesting a different means of acquisition. Do you, by chance, worship the Seaborns? Are you a Seaborn yourself? I don't worship Seaborns. Seaborns don't have any hopes or wishes. It's dire for survival. Miss Mares, does that mean if Seaborns were somehow able to hope? Maybe so. Is that so? The repairs are complete. As we were conversing, Faust descended from the ship with a neatly organized set of tools borrowed from the village. Repairs completed. You want to keep Mares, Kuro? I'm worried. I'm worried about Mares, but you know what? Sure. If you say so, let's keep her. All right, let's have ourselves a drink and stretch a little bit as well. Actually, we're about to go into an ad, I think, so I'll save that for when we actually go to the ad break. I'm guessing repairs are done. Yes, the ship is ready to set sail. You have a departure time and date in mind? I would prefer if you could depart as soon as possible. There we go, there's our ad break. All right, so I'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we will resume with the Arknights crossover. Be right back. All right, and we are back. Let's get back into Limbus Company, shall we? Do you have a departure date and time in mind? I would prefer if we could depart as soon as possible. We don't have a set time or anything, but I think we should be able to set sail this late afternoon at the earliest. So, as you've seen, we don't have a lot to bring with us. By the way, how far out to sea do you guys need to go? We need to find this dimensional door of sorts. I could see the dimensional door's light from the beach at night. It was faint, but given how the light's strong enough to break through the sea fog, we should be able to determine its location somewhere around the coastal waters. So, we can go back tonight. The first order of business is to relay this news to the villagers. Yeah, back to the village for now. Alrighty then. So, small tide done. And the Inquisitor. I'm sure this is fine. There's something going on in the village. Yeah, I hear it too. I'm hearing people shouting and hollering. Then we returned to the village. Ship repairs completed. We were welcomed by a rather hostile standoff. A quick count told me there were approximately 20 people assembled at the village square. Considering its population, that was pretty much the whole village. Who's that over there? Inquisitor. Project Moon makes pretty UI. Actual information is next to nothing. Where does one input friend codes? So, down... Oh, you found it. Okay. Inquisitor? I think we've been found. The Inquisitor, dressed in a well-kept uniform, was about the same height as Don Quixote, so pretty damn short. The sword and the lamp hanging from her waist sits in stark contrast with the more run-down, ramshackle village. If evil, why hot? She almost looked like a fixer from the city. So, the Inquisition has discovered our village. Did you really think that you could forever stay out of the Inquisition's gaze, citizen? That's a naive dream. Fabius disappeared from the Inquisition mid-interrogation under charges of suspicion of membership within the Church of the Deep. Last known location, Salt Flat. The other Inquisitors have informed me that you have been identified next to pirates in its fringes. From a criminal to an outlaw. What a dramatic evolution of your career. But it ends here, now. Every citizen here, including you, will be accompanying me to the Inquisition. They have never broken a single law, nor are they outlaws of any kind. Not like me. They've disregarded the Inquisition's authority, evaded the gaze of Iberia, and found this sodden coast to lurk in. Tell me I'm not supposed to find that suspicious. What are you talking about? You can't just start arresting people left and right with a tenuous suspicion like that. You shouldn't. We only wish to live a quiet life, ma'am. Is that so? Then you might find yourself returning to this village one day, as long as you're telling the truth. Which is not an option for you, Fabius. Mares? Was Chief really a pirate? Well, Yeah, but as far as I know, he's been out of the game for a while. And even when he ran with the pirates, all he ever did was share fin beast jerky to villagers. Or carry Igerians between them. Even if you're telling the truth, Maz, I doubt the Inquisition will be lenient. Well, what now? I have but one question to ask. That Inquisitor, is she following the proper legal procedures? I don't know much about the laws of Iberia, but Dr. Calcit told us that the words of Inquisitors were pretty much the law here. It is likely that she is following the proper legal procedures. The procedures are precisely what the villagers have fled from, after all. Then it is decided. Oh, Poppy, we can see Dante's sinner number over here. Dante is number 10. So, yeah. And obviously that means that Gregor is 13, because he's the final one over there. So, yeah. Quite the leap of logic to hit an unmarked button in the area with all your resources in order to open the friends menu. Yeah, I'm not going to justify it, because, hell, like a lot of people at the start of the game didn't even realize that you could use friend supports or anything like that. To be fair, they have fixed the UI since the start of the game to make friend supports a little bit clearer, but I guess they haven't sort of like fixed the adding of a friend UI, sadly. The sinners who are right next to me seem to have picked it up, though. Executive Manager. We best immediately return to the ship, take command of it, and sail out on our own. It is unwise to involve ourselves in this conflict. What? Are you serious in suggesting that we just let them arrest the villagers? Didn't you hear what the Inquisitor said? It seems cut and dry to me. If this is just standard procedure with no local laws broken, we are in no place to involve ourselves. Our best hope is to take the ship before they impound that too. We can't do that. Even if it is standard procedure, even if they're working within the law, it's not... You stayed up to hear Mayor's story too, didn't you? You know, the N-Corp Inquisitors were working within the law too, when they came for the village. That was standard procedure too. If someone, anyone, had stepped in then... I know what you went through, but I'd still rather not take a risk in an unfamiliar environment like this. Yes, they are generally based on literary source material. Some are more direct adaptations than others. Some might even be considered like a sequel to the original source material. It depends. But they are very much drawing on them in one way or another. You sort of see this more... Excuse me. I sort of see this more from Canto 4 onwards, I would say. Because Cantos 1, 2, and 3 were the release cantos, and sort of like more designed to introduce players to the game and get them into it. So Canto 1 and 2 in particular, them being Gregor's and Rodion's cantos, aren't so much related to the Metamorphosis and Crime and Punishment as people might like, I would say, because they were the early ones. People do theorize that they might get like something more later on. This is just sort of like a fandom theory crafting, essentially, due to the way that they were sort of like introduced, and a certain sort of like lack of character development, I guess. You'll see what I mean as you go through the game. But also the fact that Dante is the manager, essentially, and the entire sort of like thing is like referred to as Inferno. People theorize that after the 12 cantos are finished for each sinner, we might go into Purgatorio and then Paradiso for Dante's Inferno, essentially. So we'll see what happens, I guess. Generally, like Project Moon. Like we've talked about Project Moon, like not necessarily being the best at doing tutorials or the best UI or anything like that. That's because they're full of a bunch of literary nerds rather than like programmers or anything like that. So the way they sort of do games is very much focused more so on integration of mechanics and story. And they will do this to the detriment of gameplay. That might not necessarily be a big hit for some people, but this ludonarrative resonance, as I call it, is something that really hits deeply with me, because I'm also sort of like an English major, essentially, and quite like the literary allusions that they sort of do, and the way that they integrate story and mechanics to a frankly insane degree at some points. And yeah, it would be quite a way to extend the lifespan of the game, absolutely. And as I said, I wouldn't put it past them. We'll have to see how, I suppose, Inferno ends. Basically, if you remember the order that they introduced the sinners in at the start of the game, that's how they've been doing the cantos. So that would mean that Faust's canto is last. So we'll have to see if they do like Canto 13 for Dante afterwards, or if they go into Purgatorio afterwards. We'll see what happens. Absolutely. I will try my best to figure out how to sail that ship. If I cannot, then I have faith in Ishmael to quickly learn its controls. Can't say you're wrong, but I don't know. Neither you nor I know anything about the ocean currents here, Otis. And excuse me for a moment, just need to blow my nose again. Alright, I'm back. We can get the ship going, but I can't guarantee that we'll reach the dimensional door without any trouble. Do you know anything about the sea currents in this region? Not much, but I know the coastal sea somewhat, and can't fight the Inquisitors directly here in Iberia. Fleeing with the ship might be the better option. What should we do, Dante? Yeah. Guess it's kinda awkward for us to just take the ship and go, huh? How about we try to talk to the Inquisitor then? I think we should at least try to hear them out first, them being the Inquisitor and the Chief both. If the discussion goes well, we might even be able to get the Inquisition's support. Like Mr. Honglu said, we should hear them out first, and try to convince them. I agreed with them both. First, let's at least see what that Inquisitor has to say. R. Rabbits, right? She says. Are you certain that translation was accurate, Sinclair? Right? There's no way Ryoshu would choose anything other than violence, right? Idiots. Because the other options are pointless. Inquisitors seen us. We're already under suspicion. She will doubtless try to stop us if we flee now. So, talk first. Lower her guard, then attack. Pretty sure that's not what Amiya meant. Well, if she's already on to us, then we shouldn't give her any excuse to attack us by running away. I was wondering what you were doing there, lurking in the background. A clock-shaped head. Are you from the Columbian Union? Do the people in the Columbian Union in Arknights regularly wear clocks for heads? They're wearing a clock for a head due to reasons, but they have nothing to do with the Columbian Union. What's the Columbian Union? That's what I want to know! Tick-tock. What? What language are they speaking? Regardless of whether you're from Columbia or not, you're clearly not from Iberia, let alone this village. You're not wrong, but I think there's been a bit of a misunderstanding. I'm quite certain you don't know enough about these villages to stand between them and an Inquisitor. How long have you been staying here? 2 days? Buddy, don't just tell her that. 2 days? Alright, enough of this chicanery. Out of my way, outsider. The attempt appears to have been made on quite the, unstable ground. Please, lend us your ear for a minute, Inquisitor. I am Amir, leader of Rhodes Island. Yes, I am aware of Iberia's closed border situation. I felt hope swelling within me as Amir began with confidence, unlike Sinclair. Alas, it was short-lived. Thanks to the Inquisitor's quick retort, I couldn't help but place my palm against my forehead at the exchange that followed. Oh, so not only are we dealing with outsiders of dubious origin, we have illegal entry as well? That's... We had to because the issue demands urgency, and I've been briefed. Brazenly crossed the border, didn't you? I don't know how urgent that issue could be, but I doubt it's anything more significant than the situation at hand for Iberia and its Inquisition. The High Inquisitor is handling the Rhodes Island issue. Stay put and await the consequences while he and that chatty med doctor of yours talk it out. Do know that your treatment may depend on her negotiation skills. As for the village chief, I understand that you have the right to arrest him, as he is a fugitive who has fled in the middle of interrogation and has been sailing with the pirates. However, it is an inhumane treatment to arrest the rest of the villagers as well. Inhumane? this decision is well within the rights bestowed upon the Inquisition. They've lived for years right next to that highly suspicious eye gear. The Inquisition must investigate the rest of them as well to verify whether they have committed any acts of treason against our laws. Hey there, Kailash. Let's have ourselves a drink. And we'll do a little bit of a stretch as well. Hope you're doing all right. All right. This isn't going anywhere, is it? Listen, they've been surviving for years upon years by the coast without the protection of the Inquisition. And that simply cannot make sense. Oi, I think I've heard enough from you. Ain't it funny how you're blaming them for what is essentially a failure of your responsibilities? Now you roll up in here only to go, they shouldn't be alive, I'm arresting them all? What? You saying these people should all be dead or something? I am. There's no other way to cut it. People simply shouldn't be able to survive in a place like this. Not for this long. The Inquisitor's reply only seemed to fan Heathcliff's wrath, and he lifted his bat and began striding forward. Oh, well, that's it. Last you ever so much as touched the tip of a single villager's hair. Please calm yourself, Heathcliff. But Honglu stepped in between them. Get your bloody hands off me, or I've had enough of her. Continuing to threaten her will cause something irrevocably bad to happen. I believe you know that yourself, Heathcliff. What do you suggest then? We're clearly not making any progress by trying to talk this out. Excuse me, Miss Inquisitor. What do you mean that people shouldn't be able to survive in a place like this? I mean it literally. Even by some miracle that they actually do survive, they should at least be suffering from endless hunger, struggling to their wits' end at the inevitability of the calamity. But they look too healthy. The heck? And shouldn't you be applauding them for managing to survive through so much hardship? I'm an Inquisitor. I'm not some crazy person on a power high who goes around accosting and arresting civilians of Iberia straight to the gallows, okay? I have more than enough probable cause to take them in for interrogation. It's just that I don't have the time or the energy to explain every single one of them to you outsiders. I promise them a fair judgment, whichever way that may be, after a proper investigation. So, stop it with this obstruction of justice. The Inquisitor brandished her rapier threateningly, her voice shaking with frustration. Okay? Without the full picture of the circumstances, Faust advises against further antagonization of a local political authority. I agree with Faust. I get the feeling that she isn't the kind of heartless Inquisitor who goes around indiscriminately executing innocents, like Miss Mayers told us about earlier. I don't think she's anything like the Inquisitors of N-Corp we saw back in Cal. They were right. We didn't have the full picture of the circumstances. Getting in the way of an Inquisitor, who was clearly a rather significant political entity in the area, was most likely a bad idea. It isn't the Inquisitor's job to answer your questions. Continue to obstruct me, then, as the standoff was showing no signs of ending, Miss Mayers? I can answer your questions. So, for now, let's do as the Inquisitor says. Mayers, who had been hiding behind us ever since we returned to the village, suddenly stepped forward. Yet, what of thy grandfather and the villagers? It's all right. I'm sure this is happening only because the Inquisitor doesn't know. What do you mean you'll answer the questions? About the profound silence. Mare's response to Otis was but a single concept. I didn't quite grasp its significance, but it seemed to surprise the Inquisitor. That's what they call the calamity that destroyed Iberia. Alright. Well, she mentioned that one before, so I guess we'll get to find out a bit more of that now. Okay, so, spinning clock. So, pre-battle? R.I.P. Spain, indeed. Hey, wizard, how you going? You. Decades ago, a great wave ravaged through Iberia. It wasn't long before the seaborns carried by the waves diminished Iberia's brilliant civilization to this. I mean, I suppose Spain's civilization did decline after they failed at colonialism. The waves. The profound silence, then, must have reduced the village to its current state as well. Yeah, no worries, wizard. Try and save your strength for class. All the best, okay? I know I'm not I was gonna say lucid, but that's a little bit too strong a word. I'd just say that I'm still a little bit tired, and we'll go from there. Is there any reason it's called the Profound Silence? It doesn't seem to be the most appropriate moniker for a calamity like that. It's because the sea went dead silent before the waves came. The silence then claimed ships out at sea, and the cities of Iberia, then the Iberians. One could say a word in face of the inevitable calamity. What? Just what are you? I'm not loopy, I'm just a little bit tired, that's all. If I were loopy, I wouldn't be streaming. No average citizen, no average Iberian citizen should be privy to any of the information you're sharing. I mean, really, it sounds like a lot of people would be aware of, like, the profound silence, right? If it destroyed civilization. Otherwise, are we just going around, like, not knowing why everything's destroyed? And the Church of the Deep is really capitalizing on the pandemonium that followed the profound silence. They pretend to be Aegir from the sea, delude the citizenry of Iberia, and are sowing chaos in her lands. So, that's why they're arresting the Aegir left and right. I can see the thought process, but... It's understandable why the Inquisitor would want to arrest us. Dante? This isn't good. Sharing that seems to have been some kind of a taboo-like thing for the Inquisition. The Inquisitor wordlessly stared at Mares. Her eyes were filled with traces of anger and confusion, but she's afraid. There was fear in the face of a threat. Not the fear of the terrified, no. It's the fear of someone who's suddenly confronted with something they must destroy. The High Inquisitor once told me that, should I come across an Aegir who knows too much, there is a sliver of a chance that they may be of assistance to Iberia. Cease! Thou art threatening the innocent with thy brandishing of the firearm! But most are seduced by the allure of the sea. Thus, they are, with little doubt, our foes. I've got a bad feeling about this. Get out of my way, outsider. Final warning. Run! Quick on the uptake as always, Rodya slung mares over her shoulder and ran past the villagers, while the sinners scattered in all directions to distract the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor draws her firearm, and, in the midst of all that action, Don Quixote rushed towards the Inquisitor without a moment's hesitation. Don Quixote! Thou shalt go no further! I, a fixer of justice, shan't abide by as thou persecute them. Forsooth, 'tis a battle delayed, not avoided. This clash is inevitable. In that moment of crisis, seconds before this could irrevocably make us a new enemy, Monitor. Is it pronounced monster or monitor? What monster? Whatever. A large obsidian crystallization in the shape of a monster burst forth between the two of them. Ah! Who is it this time? That's enough meaningless bickering. Dr. Kaltzit? Do you know her? Yes, she's Dr. Kaltzit, Rhodes Island Medical Department's... Dr. Kaltzit, behind you! Shoot first, talk later, is it? The negotiations are over. From this moment onward, Rhodes Island is now operating within legal capacity on Iberian territory under the Inquisition's authorization. The Inquisitor fired a blast of that firearm-looking weapon, but the monster summoned by Kaltzit managed to deflect it, and the cannonball thrown from the weapon punched clean through the wall of the building we stayed in the night before punching through several other buildings behind it. Which is not a thing in the city. Firearms regulation says you cannot do this. That was enough to instantly freeze the sinners and the villagers on the spot. Traded a building. Yeah, that's gonna do some psychological damage to them. So their walls may be weaker than the head's standard for what counts as a building's exterior wall. To punch through so many is... What a precise point it makes. And now's not the time to stand around impressed. It is a violation of a taboo. Have that much penetrative power in a firearm. And not in the city. Don't lose your heads over this. Taboos don't apply here. My head knows that to be true, yet my heart finds it difficult to be still. That is enough of that discussion for now. It is advisable that we carefully observe and grasp the situation at hand, instead of deliberating on a taboo, the jurisdiction of which does not reach this far. Yeah, so... The situation's gotten slightly better, right? If she's Amelia's friend, she's our ally. Besides, she's got some super powerful looking prosthetic gear looking thing too. Is that what you think? I apologize for the disappointment, but I am not on anyone's side. In other words, your particular denomination ally might not be entirely correct. However, if I must define my allegiance, then let me inform you that the closest label would be that I am Inquisitor Irene's ally. We got an idea that had an Arknights weapons. Would the heads see it as breaking a taboo since we have powerful guns? Or would they consider it as a special power like an ego weapon that happened to look and behave like a gun and thus be fine with it? I feel like if it looks like a gun, shoots like a gun, it's probably a gun. I actually had this conversation earlier with someone about bows and crossbows, and whether they might be subject to some of the heads taboos on firearms. Yeah, I don't think anything is allowed to sort of destroy buildings anyway. Like, the head really doesn't seem to like people destroying buildings. Like, that's not just a rule regarding like firearms, because buildings also signify areas where the sweepers aren't able to affect. So I feel like, yeah, that would be a taboo, right? I see this conversation heading to JoJo territory since there's at least 2 gun stands in that. I need to actually watch JoJo. City wants to be a city, not a barren battleground. That's true. That being said, at least going by what some arbiters have said before, they do seem to care about the word of the law, like the letter of the law, rather than the intention. Yeah. Seen parts 1 and 2 and half of part 3 so far. Pretty good, but Araki mucked up a lot in part 3. Araki's the writer, right? And not a character in JoJo? I've seen a little bit of part 1, and like I was enjoying it. So like it's I do want to sort of go back to it proper. Araki's the writer, gotcha. Dr. Calcet. Amiya. Outsiders. As much as you would like to deny it, the Inquisitor's suspicions are true. While it can be said that the process by which she reached that conclusion was unfair, the conclusion itself is, without a doubt, correct. So they're actually connected to the Church of the Deep? That is one way to put it. To be more precise, they aren't connected to the Church of the Deep. They are the Church of the Deep. Perhaps the village itself is a dilapidated church of their congregation. Our village? A church? Just look at our buildings! Where would we even congregate? Just give me a moment. Alright, I'm back. Alright, that's a little bit of a shame. Hopefully part 4 sort of picks up on things. I don't quite know like all the chapter names of JoJo, which ones are considered the good ones and which ones aren't. Just that it's a big series and people aren't necessarily unified on what they think is the best parts, so... Your thoughts, Faust? There are not many resources by which we may analyze the decision. However, the fact that Amia's colleague has made the same argument as the Inquisitor brings the accused's defense into question. Yep, I can hardly believe that young Mares is lying to us. Hold on. You've been chatting plenty with that Inquisition or whatever. How do we know you weren't aligned with them the whole time? I see. You really are all entirely in the dark. An expected outcome, given that all of you may be from a place far beyond the dimensional door. Part 4 is great but polarizing. Part 5 is similar, polarizing in a different way. 6 is only hated because the protagonist is a woman. Yeah, because chauvinists gonna chauvinize, right? Fucking. As fortune should have it, there is no need for you to know it anyway. Truth is truth unchanging, without the acceptance from an errant group of outsiders. Besides, soon... I'm sorry. Seems that we've mired you in this trouble. Ah! Say no such thing! We shall not abide by as one such injustice is perpetrated before our eyes. Now that and the absolutely bonkers story of part 6 that is nearly impossible to follow at the end. Alright, well, sometimes if something's incomprehensible, then people aren't necessarily going to like it, right? The village has already been identified by the Inquisition. And the Inquisition has even brought an ally. Seems quite unlikely that words shall resolve this conflict. But we promise you, we will take responsibility for what is done. We have benefited far too much from your warmth and kindness not to do so. The village chief, with a benevolent look, pulls a dagger from his cloth, and I immediately knew what Calcit was about to say. Take responsibility? Oh, you don't have to go that far. Why me? We are now departing for the sea. Yet, as we cannot bring ourselves to leave you here, I must ask you to join us for this journey. Become our bloodkin. What are you doing? Stop! Most of the hate is for Jolene being a woman, your misunderstanding the villain, similar to the detractors of Part 8 minus the female protagonist. Oh, there's a Part 8. Is that all the parts, or is there more than that? The unanticipated, or perhaps I was simply in denial of this rising dread, ambush did not end there. Inquisitor was right. The villagers suddenly began shanking the sinners with weapons they had concealed in their clothes. It seemed that they were coming for me as well. Ah! Mia, on your left! Amia materialized a black ribbon-like apparition, carrying away the dagger flying in my direction. Another villager rushed in, taking advantage of the opening. Charging villagers back made a visceral, crunchy noise. Someone flung them away. Didn't mean to be this late. Scotty, let me catch you up to speed. I know the situation. This fishy smell was what I went to investigate earlier. What about the sinners? Unlike Amia and I, who managed to survive the initial ambush, the sinners weren't doing so well. At least we had a silver lining in that the Inquisitor and Calcit quick understanding of the situation, and the subsequent retaliation led the villagers away from the sinners. How? I didn't notice any hostility or impression? What an odd thing to say. Why would we hold any animosity against you? Why would we intend to kill you? We are not trying to hurt you. We are simply trying to give you a form better suited for the sea. Phantom Blood, Battle Tendency, Stardust Crusaders, Diamonds Unbreakable, Vento Oreo, Stone Ocean, Steel Ball Run, Jojo Lion, and Jojo Lands. No part 10 yet, but not finished. Gotcha. Until we were obstructed. I apologize for our unfamiliarity has given you trouble, Inquisitor. We won't make a big stink about what happened. What's truly unforgivable is that the heretics try to take advantage of the ignorance of outsiders to flee the Inquisition. And even if you are outsiders, any lives lost on Iberian soil are my responsibility. It's my fault. It came to this. Wait, lives lost? We're still alive, you know? We can shake up a stab wound like... This is most unfortunate, outsider. Never end. Anime's going beyond where it originally seemed it would end. Viewable runs being made now. Honestly, good for them. If the writer's still happy making JoJo, then make JoJo they shall. Huh? What? Your friends are either going to die or turn into seaborns. The daggers that stabbed them were laced with the flesh of sea terrors. Once that happens, most die, and the survivors become overwritten by their cells, becoming nothing more than another sea monster. What? That's not a very big deal? Everyone was acting like this was it for the sinners, but hey, I should be able to deal with this by turning the clock. It's not that bad. My only concern was that I didn't know what would happen if I tried to bring them back after they're fully transformed into Seaborns. Yeah, pretty much, Poppy. The Golden Bow helped deal with the whale's politification effects, but I had no idea how it would interact with Seaborn transformations. We should just kill them before they turn. I know this must be very hard for you, but for... What? I'm sorry to bother you with this, but can you kill my friends? And preferably in the least painful way you know? Could be a tagline for the entire series. Time for Dante to suffer a whole bunch. Amiya's in a little bit of a shock. Oh, sorry. Was the last part kind of too much to ask? None of the whole kill your friends thing? Oh, wait! Don't give up already! If we bring them back to Rhodes Island, we should be able to do something to help them! How should I explain this? Guys, can you... Ante, I know what you mean, but... Yes, can't right now. My strength has rapidly deteriorated since the ambush. It's kind of tingly too, so maybe they use some kind of paralytic cocktail? Yeah, trust me this one time. I can assure you that I'm not just giving up on them. But, Amiya, you understand the outsider's speech? Yes, it's just that they're making a pretty difficult request. They want me to kill all of their friends before they transform into Seaborns. Okay. Thanks, Scotty, I guess. And before we even knew it, Skadi had already decapitated the sinners, none of whom resisted. Amir seemed to have been taken aback by how fast Skadi jumped into action. What are you doing? Skadi! Don't let this spook you. This is just how we roll. That's a good line right there. The clock turns. The decapitated heads creep slowly towards the headless torsos connected with the threads of blood. The sensation is that of reversal. It feels as though the sinners and I are severed from the rest of the world, rewinding in isolation. Is this rewinding us going back in time, or are we defying the concept itself? This pain is multifold worse than the sensation of a straightforward decapitation. The pain is in the heart. As the current of death reverses, I sense a deep, crushing isolation. Wounds are disappearing. Resurrection, metapsychosis, or time reversal. Puzzling. I have no knowledge of which to interpret this technology. Cost seems to be that the pain is transferred to the one who rewinds. That seems too small a price for such a great power. Though the discussion of whether this can be categorized as power should be explored later. I couldn't stop shaking. All of my limbs were trembling from the icy solitude. Still, I took a moment to collect myself and ordered the sinners. I don't know just what they were thinking, but should be able to find out once we take them down. Dante facepalming. You dare deceive the executive manager and try to take their life? Prepare thyself, for thou shalt now pay the price for making a mockery of justice. Yeah, we can't just let this slide, you know? How unfortunate. I had high hopes that all of you would become fine bloodkins. Well, time to engage the cult leader, I guess. Let's go, shall we?
총은 수지 타산에 맞게 한 발에 한 놈씩.
Alright, so this one's a proper sort of battle that we have to assign people. So let's go and explore what these people are all about, shall we? So, ripping slice, spine sinking, paralyze, gloom damage equal to nervous impairment. Alright. Oh, Abyssal Worship, they heal SP to every surviving ally, lovely. On hit with an unopposed attack, inflict nervous impairment. Alright, so make sure to clash, always be clashing. Gain haste if not damaged. Alright, and over here we have Fabius. So his skills, nervous impairment, bind, power up. And over here, this is something that we need to pay attention to. Rite of Liberation. So this will inflict nervous impairment on us. And his shield gives him attack power. Okay. Over here, Sea Terror Assimilation. Gain 1 stack at turn start. If allied sinner has 5 stacks of this effect, it escapes battlefield. So it leaves combat, I guess. But this is on him though, so he's not going to leave. Allied center has a defense skill equipped while it has this effect. They escape battlefield at combat start. Alright. And yeah, this guy gets offense and defense up instead of the negatives. And yeah, unopposed attack, nervous impairment. Fall of the Bloodkin. Oh, at low morale, he consumes HP to apply attack power up. Interesting. I think they're gonna get low on SP though, considering they gain power. They gain SP just from existing. So now let's get into this. So I'll start with you. You. Let's do that so I can put you into despair mode. There. Yeah, we'll go with that. There. And there. Okay. Alright, so, right our ad break. So, we'll pause here, and after that, we will resume with the combat, okay? Be right back. All right, and we're back. Let's go engage these cultists of the deep and show them that we spit in the face of Cthulhu.
불가 위협 막아내지 마.
사랑으로.
Show them what for.
헛.
Go.
방금의 움직임
But
두말할
you
것
can't just
없이
let Cthulhu
100점
come in
만점입니다.
and tell you what to do.
이런 것쯤이야. 눈 감고도
지금
폭로 지원한다.
단순해서 조건 9번
Okay, so got some staggering over there.
좋은 성과를
United
갖고
will.
돌아온다.
Okay.
달고 짭짤한 걸 준비해두지.
That. There. Wonder what resistances. Okay, got a little bit of pride weakness, so yeah, that'll be fine. We'll shoot you with the big bullet. A similar. Okay. Yes, we will do that.
만만치 않겠군. 본인이 하지.
한 번에 우위를 점하셨군요. 이 기세라면 이번 대련도 무난히 승리하실
There
수
we
있을
go.
겁니다.
Shoot them good. We might kill that guy.
이러면
제압 효과가
폭로
굉장히
지원한다.
Ooh, there
기록적인
we go.
피해량인 것 같다. 야! 아르카나 빛!
There we go. A stagger.
교단의 전투 경험이
Beautiful.
쓸모가 없진 않았군.
한 점만 노린다.
좋지였어.
And can we get through that shield? Yes, we can. Beautiful.
감동적이지 않을 수 없네. 해결사용은 왜 이런 구절을 써지? 어디 보자.
Okay. Oh, yeah, he's getting some more attacks. He's got his bigger one here now. Let's go engage. Out of curiosity, would I be able to? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Poppy. So this is how you overclock. You click over there, and you've got your ego over here. 1, 3, 2. You overclock here, and yeah, 2, 3, 5. So increase the cost there by 50% rounded up. It looks like. But it can be harder to aim, unfortunately, when you're overclocking, because it chooses its target randomly. Thankfully, in this case, it's actually shooting precisely where I want it to shoot, so let's go ahead and do that, shall we? do that.
사기 개시.
탐정, 이제 깨우치시게.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
And we get corrode.
저게 저도 손 게 모든 기억이 파묻힐 때까지.
대성공이야. 가랑 신나. 노래 부를까?
차라리 아무것도 남지 마라.
And staggered him. That's good.
とても効果的でした。
Alright, we actually gain ourselves some ammo if we kill someone with fell bullet. So that's nice. Let me double check.
이기는 편, 우리 편.
숨 참고 있을 때 말 걸지 마라.
That's on that. Not on the corrosion one, unfortunately. You do want the regular one. On a crit kill, sorry. But on that one, it's sort of more about the torn memories, I guess. Okay. I feel like we've just about won this battle. Oh hey, you've got an ability called Cell Injection. The steadfast ones, we didn't look at those. Alright, so those ones inflict Sea Terror Assimilation on us, which we definitely do not want to get hit with, because that puts your sinner on a ticking timer.
갑니다. 먹칠.
승객이 딱 콩 한 방 먹였어.
제압이 잘 진행되고 있어.
Oh, and he's
이대로면 큰
still up, it
손실이
looks like.
일어나기 전에 모든 게 안정화될 거야.
걱정할 필요가 없는 건 좋네. 잘했어.
이제 깨우치시게.
이제야 회사가 정상으로 돌아갔네. 이번 제압은 끝이야.
너희들도 고생 많았어. 티페리트, 너도.
그 정도 화력으로 우리 사무소를 막을 수 있을 줄 알았냐?
That's that
저놈들 무기까지
handled.
줘서 철수하자고.
And post-battle, spinning clock. There we go. Wait, I think they're heading to... He's running himself into a dead end. Are they seeking refuge at sea? Wait, that's where the ship is. That's where they're headed. They're trying to board the vessel Masas. But he never told them that the ship was repaired. So how? Ain't it obvious? All villages in on it. And they're surprised that they'd send someone to spy on us. Well, they know a way to get the ship floating even in its broken state. Vessel Masas. Vessel Rebellion de la Masas. That ship was moored at a port in that direction. Wait, it can't be. Irene, who was preoccupied with battling the rest of the followers of the Church of the Deep who were in hiding, quickly gave chase. But Fabius and the villagers were already aboard the repaired ship, slowly departing the harbour with a horde of sea terrors between us and them. Can a vessel of that size become operational this fast? The exterior, the name. It must have been constructed during the Golden Age of Iberia. But how are we supposed to chase that? What if we built a raft and rode after them? Mate, come on. Sea's full of sea terrors. It won't get very far before it sinks. Moon's haunted, people. Moon's haunted. Do you see something, Amir? You keep looking in that direction. Oh. The vessel Masas soon disappeared into the mist, and the village was left empty, with nary a sign of people ever having been there, as though this getaway had all been premeditated. Leaving only Mares. Interesting that she's not in on the conspiracy, considering she's meant to be Thingo's daughter. Fabius's daughter. Anyway, let's proceed to three-way agreement. Oh, damn it. Can't we just take any ship to go after it? It's a research vessel. It can't possibly be very fast. This'll be difficult. Even if it's a research vessel, I'm sure it was constructed during the golden age of Iberia. No average ship can keep up with it. Which is a problem. I doubt we have any ship that can travel at the same speed. We only have a few small vessels left, which are all anchored too far from this location to be feasible options. Do we have any recourse? No. Not unless we can identify the exact location of the vessel. Which is the real problem. We can find ourselves a ship to go after them, yes. But most eyes of Iberia, the lighthouses, were lost during the profound silence. Wait, when you say most, do you mean that there's some left? Just one, as far as I know. One in Grand Faro, but that lighthouse cannot be used at the moment. There's another. There's a lighthouse you can use. Really? Are you really going to give one of the villagers the benefit of the doubt? Yep, young Skadi have already confirmed her to be safe. All I confirmed is whether she's a Seaborn or not. No, she's a cultist. It's true. Yet. Once we saw that Mares was left all on her own, we decided to have her accompany us at all times and keep her within Irene's eyeshot. We couldn't possibly blame her for what happened, given Skadi's confirmation that she doesn't have anything to do with those sea monsters. Besides, that all left her behind. But Irene still seemed to harbor a bit of suspicion. Problem with the eye gear is that she simply knows too much. Where could she possibly have gained access to all that information? I mean, where did she learn about the bright nights and dark days? See? She can't even answer that question. But let's think about it this way. What if we were to ask her what we don't know? The location of that lighthouse, for example. They're ticking rapidly. What did they say? Dante says that we should approach it differently and ask her what we don't know, like the location of the lighthouse. Seems like a reasonable suggestion to me. Or does the Inquisitor have an alternate solution to this conundrum? No, but fine. Let's hear it. I won't interrogate you about how you have access to things that even us Inquisitors don't know. At least not right now. Barro Muerto, Dead Lighthouse. That's our village name. Somewhere a little ways off from the coastline, there's an intact Eye of Iberia on the sea, though it was almost destroyed when the profound silence swept through. Off the coastline? Is it not connected to the land? I think it used to be, until it sank. We should be able to procure ourselves enough wood material from the village to build a raft. Is it near enough for a raft to be the means of access? Weather's not great today, but it could do. It's not very far from the coast. Even you? You're going to trust the eye gear? Let's see why I shouldn't. I understand that Iberian mistrust of the eye gear is quite profound, yet such sentiment is hollow to the rest of us. Inquisitor Irene, what did you feel when you saw the Rhodes Island operator? If you're talking about the Cortus, nothing in particular, other than slight annoyance when she accused me of being inhumane. So, you didn't harbor any hostility nor disgust. Not that you would have felt any sense of sympathy or empathy either. I thought... I have no history of feelings for or against the eye gear. Such must be the same for the outsiders. What's she on about? She is conveying that, in matters in regards to mares, our opinions are more objective than Irene's, because we aren't racist. Finding the vessel Fabius commandeered will be a benefit to all. Limbus Company will gain an opportunity to return to the city via the Dimensional Door, while Rhodes Island will have the chance to study it at a closer proximity. And the Inquisition will gain possession of the vessel in which the technology from the Iberian Golden Age is contained. What? You're going to just hand that over to the Inquisition? Why should we covet what was once Iberia's? While there are certainly aspects to that vessel that draw interest, I already have a state-of-the-art masterpiece known as Mephistopheles. As long as that can be guaranteed, I see no reason to refuse. Irene eventually agreed to put her trust in mares. We are in luck, Executive Manager. It is quite fortunate that our interests aligned exactly with that of the first strangers we encountered in a strange land. Lucky is right. Imagine if we were back in the city, it would have taken them like 3 distortion hunts for us to come to this agreement. Sorry about having to saddle you with this, mares. Please, lead us to the lighthouse. Okay, happily. So, when you said almost destroyed, how almost destroyed is it? I heard that the light faded from the lighthouse a long time ago, but the shape still stands. At least it was when I saw it a few months ago. If the lighthouse is in an inoperable state, we're going to need an expert technician to get it back in working order. The technology it's based on is completely divorced from the popular application of Iridium technology. So, I doubt there's anyone out there who can work it anymore. Then you needn't worry about that. Here, we have an engineer and a researcher who are geniuses even among those in the city. We should be able to manage most mechanical failures. Today is just revelation after revelation, huh? I can vouch for Limbus Company's skills. I can also work on the simpler tasks. I've learned a thing or two helping out Gramps. Stuff about the lighthouse or various tech stuff. Well, then we should all head over to the lighthouse together. No, I'll be leaving the group for a moment. Amia will accompany you instead. What? After all that, you're just going off on your own? Yes, to join the doctor. It is imperative for the successful execution of this mission. Of course, that hinges on Amiya and Skadi remaining behind to assist the rest of you. Thus, I will leave it to the rest of you to take the Eye of Iberia, the lighthouse, back. Wait, what do you mean, take back the lighthouse? Is there someone or something out there that's taken over the lighthouse called the Eye of Iberia? A likely supposition. Amiya, what did the manager of Limbus Company say? They're asking if the lighthouse has been taken over by something. Not a bad intuition. Yes, there is a high likelihood that the structure has already been overrun by sea terrors. I don't know about overrun, but I've encountered them a few times when we approached too closely. Normally, this is hardly enough personnel to attempt a raid on the lighthouse. But answer me this. Are there any limitations to their revival? There are no restrictions as long as Dante, the manager, survives. However, do note that battle efficiency depreciates with prolonged battle due to mounting mental stress on the manager. No need to change the plan then. Amiya, use this communicator to alert me as soon as you are able to identify the coordinates of the vessel from the lighthouse. If luck would have it, we should be able to reduce the time it takes to complete the retrieval mission. Okay. As long as you're not taking everyone with you. If it's just her who's leaving, then go ahead. The restriction is someone has to pay for her. I'm not necessarily sure about that. I mean, I'm sure they'll fight if their survival depends on it, right? Also, hey Infernal, hope you're doing alright. I think we should be fine too. Then, let us commence mission Vessel Masas Retrieval. Right-o. Step one of the plan's a raft, right? Let's go on with it. It's done. Let's go. What? Why are you looking at us like that? Is there something bothering you? Must you ask? Just look at how proactive and quick she is to jump to action. Certainly lives up to the image of an employee working for a large corporation. Thanks, Otis, for that charitable view, I guess. Thanks to Skadi, who had already finished the first step of the plan, we were able to move on to step 2 immediately. Thanks, Skadi. Alright. So, Operation Lighthouse Retrieval. After a while of carefully sailing on Skadi's raft along the coastal cliffs, a gargantuan, shrouded lighthouse emerged from the thick mist. Eye of Iberia. Even in its dilapidated, ruined state, features that are at once monumental and sensitive are apparent on the exterior construction of a lighthouse. Some even call these lighthouses guardians of Iberia. It retains the grandeur of the era as it was built during its golden age. You really know everything, don't you? It is as she said. Now, these lighthouses are nothing but graveyards of countless inquisitors and soldiers of the penal battalion. No one who's attempted to retrieve a lighthouse has ever survived the expedition. Can you please not say scary stuff like that, Miss Irene? We are literally about to walk into one. And that one lighthouse in the stupidest of places where you shouldn't open the door on most days of the year because the waves are 30 meters tall. Oh, fuck. Which lighthouse is this? Don't you ever quit chirping? What are you, a foul beast? Stop yapping in my ear. This one's such a coward, unlike the rest of you outsiders. I'm not a coward. I'm just voicing my... She did just say some pretty concerning stuff. how long do you think the repairs will take? Its exterior is rather heavily damaged. However, from what is visible from the outside, its interior is still quite intact. On a tiny rock was a rich guy donated money for it. I guess the rich guy had like a reason for it or something, like maybe he had like merchant shipping going through the area. But damn. Maybe he just liked the look of a lighthouse being there. With Mr. Bouth's expertise, it should not take very long. Yisung suggested with a smile, but Faust maintained her silence for the entire journey to the lighthouse. He said something pretty concerning in response. Of course, my wit remains unmarred even in such uncertainties. Well, let's be careful, I guess, considering she's not got a good connection with her Discord. It's in France. Gotcha. Currents are pretty wild. Well, someone's going to have to stay behind and keep an eye on the raft. I'll just leave it here unattended, but I don't know if you can carry it either. I'll stay here and protect the ship. You sure you can handle this alone? I know you're strong, but maybe one or two more people should stay behind, just in case? No, don't need them. E-terrors will swarm the islet if I go with you anyway. So, this has nothing to do with you. So, what she's trying to say is that she's worried about you not having enough people to take on the lighthouse when she could handle this area alone. Which is why she is okay with staying behind alone. The most dangerous lighthouse photo ever. I need to look that up. I'll look it up later. After the stream. Thanks for explaining. Some people just can't help but hop through an extra hoop, I guess. Well then, let's trust her. We'll be back, Scotty. Luckily, we didn't run into any sea terrors on our way to the lighthouse gates. The problem was that the gates were bound shut by strange blue tissues. Reminds me of that L-Corp branch back at U-Corp, though that one was white. I don't think I can do anything to force it open myself, so... Guys, can you pry open this door? Oi, move over. I'll pull from the right side, you grab the left. And... we'll all pull together at 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Huh? Oh, something's off here. What are you doing? The door is firmly secured in place. Its flesh tissue regenerates almost as soon as it is torn. So you'll need to tap into a wilder form of art to get this opened. Well, what now? This strange flesh tissue growing on the gates of sea terror. It reacts to the lamp, but it's grown too much to be affected by it in any meaningful capacity. The door is supposed to stop the water. Gadi might be able to open this door with her incredible strength, but should I go fetch her? But, I think she's already fighting off the sea terrors from sinking the raft. So, we're all on our own. Maybe there's some identity card or ego I could use to get through this. Which one? Huh? Just as I was pondering a familiar question, a faint black glow came into view and devoured my sight. It's no intuition or inspiration. It's different from those sudden flashes of realization. going to this place in the picture with a raft. I know, right? I wouldn't want to. And it's not the star of that day that I think of from time to time. It's not the horrible door that I see every time I turn the plot either. Formless and black space in which I am not permitted to see. Faint noise, a whisper through it. And through that opening, I see light. I reach out the opening and see Skadi, born from a very, very warm gaze. Skadi? Powerful imagery crashes onto me like the waves. Skadi, the staggering dancer wielding a blade. Skadi, who flaunts her flowing locks. And Skadi, the singer, humming in a low voice. Beyond the fringes of cognition, Skadi's existence has become engraved. The sinner who can wrestle and control this oceanic idol power is... Dante? Are you alright? Someone is a crush and it's not me. I mean, the crush is the water. The water's crushing everything that goes into it. I'm good. And I don't think we'll need to send for Skadi. Huh? What? Hey, Ishmael? I've never used this ego before, but I need you to trust me and accept it. What? An ego? Skadi Ishmael being in a well-fit ego is criminal for how insane it is. I mean, like, they wanted to make the egos good, right? Considering it's a collab event, and they're getting a lot of new people to play the game because of it, so makes sense, right? And like, I don't know much about Arknights, but Skadi's meant to be strong in that, I think. Also hope you're doing all right, Deus Ex. Thanks for stopping by. I nod quietly. Well, it's not like we ever get to have a practice run with these ego... whatever it is. Seems to me our manager found a solution. The Greg one's certainly interesting. The Faust one competes with Fluid Tech. Yeah. And it's not bad or anything. It's a side grade to Fluid Sack, because Fluid Sack is fucking ridiculous. It doesn't have the same sanity regen that Fluid Sack has, but yeah, it's still pretty good. Her confusion is short-lived. She lets out a carefree laugh before stepping forward, boldly twirling her mace once. Yeah. It's good to have as you say, as a side grade. You can switch over from Fluid Sack to Meltdown, or back again depending on whether you've got like the ego resources for one or the other, or if this one particularly sort of goes well with a person or whatever. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Get corroded?
한눈 팔지 마세요. 당신에게 파도는 반드시 밀려올 테니.
So the lighthouse are growing! How did the sinners even arrive in the Arknights world in the first place? Yeah. What happened at the start of this event, it said that they went into a Lobotomy Corporation branch, and the description of what they encountered in there sounded similar to Blue Star. Blue Star being an abnormality from Project Moon's first game, Lobotomy Corporation, which sort of like pulls people in. being a blue star aberration seems the logical choice of what the description was, at least. Oh yeah, and that's true. Deus Ex Blue Star does appear in live. Yeah, I think that was in Hockma's, if I recall right. Yeah. Sorry, the end game flaws were a little bit of a blur to me, I guess. Mostly I remember White Knight for Hockma and that fucking time-based one. I fucking hate that time-based one. Yes, there's a way to cheese that one, which I did, but I hate being put on the timer. It did my head in. Yeah, Blue Star. Yeah, I remember the battle with Blue Star now. That wasn't actually too bad. That was fine. I think she destroyed the door instead of opening it. Sorry, didn't think it'd be this strong. Well, I think Deus Ex Machinist agrees with you in that they didn't think that would be this strong either. As a welfare ego. Well, the door's open. What are we waiting for? Yeah, Price of Silence technically appears in like the Lobotomy Corporation Alpha or whatever, the early version of the game, the one that's a pre-release version. I'm glad that Price of Silence is not in Lobotomy Corporation, even if a Hockma's Meltdown is essentially Price of Silence. Fuck that shit. Well, the door's open. What are we waiting for? No, I mean, what was the part where the part where I suddenly changed into a different outfit and equipped a different personality? I'm a magical girl. Are we all, yes, that! What is? This is most fascinating. An ego could be drawn here in lieu of the mirror of Mephistopheles. I think I connected to Mia's subconscious mind. There was this strange, unfamiliar light that saw Mia's emotions attached to her memories and experiences. I just reached out to them. My subconscious mind? I just had this feeling that it would work. Sorry about peering in without asking first. But I didn't see anything other than things about Skadi. All I needed were memories and emotions that could be used to understand the being that is Skadi. It's okay. I also have experience with gaining power from others' memories and emotions to overcome difficult situations. Maybe that's how you were able to draw something from me as well, Dante? Is the most appropriate assumption, especially in a situation in which delving into its principles is impossible. Skadi Ishmael ego is a damage-dealing, speed-control ego with an insane passive for 6 ego resources. Pretty damn cheap. I need to bloody refresh myself on that. They released so many ego all at once, and I get hard to remember all of them. So, that's called ego? Verily! Of course, Limbus Company's ego is quite distinguished from the other kind of ego, which are bloomed from within oneself. That is enough. No further information is to be divulged to outsiders. Yet that is not whether young Mayers and young Emia learn of this. Agree with that fool this time. The Inquisitor used an artillery projectile that penetrates the outer wall, several of them, in fact, of a building, and the head did not pursue her following that breach of taboo. This is clearly not the city. Oh, ain't it better to let her talk her heart out than to hear her moan and whine about not being able to say anything? I am convinced. Do as you will, then. Thus, reply sounded almost sulking, but Don Quixote immediately began to expound upon ego to Irene and Maz anyway. But everyone was too busy to pay attention to her. The wet, slithering noises from a distance had put everyone on edge. We do that later. We've got some cleaning up to do. There were more sea terrors past the door. I think any sea terrors from the sea are all converging around Skadi, which means our only roadblocks are sea terrors still lingering around the lighthouse. Let's go. Let's take this lighthouse back. Alright. Let's engage in fisticuffs, shall we? Oh, hey, Infinity. How you going? So, enter combat. We just,
내가
oh, god damn it, I
움직여야 하나?
have to reset this now.
내가
지휘를 받는 건
How about that?
이번 의뢰는 몇 발이나 들고 가야 하냐?
Hold up. Wasn't I deploying?
내가
이번 의뢰는 몇
이제야 명을 받듭니다.
관리인 말뚝을 주먹으로 매만지며
여보다.
탐구할 순간 굴로 정화하고 깨끗한 세계를 세우라.
リンバスカンパニーの皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
할 말이 남았나요?
The title elegy. If there's just a single enemy, leftmost. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was a good one. Because Snag Harpoon is already really good. Clash power +2 when win rate is in the unit's favor. So even with this can help Snag Harpoon proc the positive version and then win even further. It's great. And also extra damage. Good luck, by the way. I'm good. Oh, yeah. Yes, this is, debris removal. Hand of the Saint. Spawns in an inactive state in battles that never see brand appears. Oh, yeah, so that's up over here. So this hasn't activated yet, but that'll eventually start to spread. When Never See Brand appears on the battlefield, it becomes active and damageable. Unit HP reduced to 1. Trigger hand and remove Never See Brand from the battlefield. Basically just take a turn off to attack it to prevent the brand from encroaching on you. Because you don't want to get take damage and nervous impairment. Only takes damage from skills mainly targeting this unit. Okay, so I've got to directly target it and remove all effects and heal back up when inactive. Gotcha. No worries. Sounds fine to me. Alright. Oh, there's 25 enemies in this battle. You can see why the good luck was said. But I'm good. I'm good. So, when this one's in standby, we can just leave this here for now. And save us some trouble, especially considering how much HP it's got. So, let's focus on the other guys first. Go for you. Go for you. You. You have a team comp that is literally just random IDs go. I respect it. Well, just random solid IDs. I do have like a whole bunch of teams available that are like blood fiends, for example. Like, for the most part, I just go with whatever. The ones that I like, and that work and are solid in general. That. Basically, I like the magical girls from Lobotomy Corporation and Library of Ruiner, so they're in it. I like the full stock crew because they've got really good Alpha Strike ability. I got Gregor along because I wanted to use his new ego, right? So that's why he's sort of along. Faust is along because, well, usually it's because Faust is Fluid Sac, but in this case I've gone with Calcit's Meltdown because, like, special resources. And again, Ishmael is here because, again, Skadi. Do I have to use them? No. But it's the Arknights event, so I gotta use them, right? I still need to build a sinking team, to be honest. Like, which is funny because I quite like sinking, because reducing enemy sanity and dealing damage to them, like, is just good. At the time, when I was like doing some like major building construction, I didn't have a lot of sinking to be able to do it effectively, so it just never happened. Hold on.
갑니다.
단번에 우위를 점하셨군요.
지금 공로
이 기원한다면
Anyway.
이번 대련도 무난히 승리하실 수 있을 겁니다, 아가씨.
Oh, nice.
엄청나게 강한 일격을.
Yeah, basically my intention, Mechanist, is while I am up to date with the game, I haven't streamed everything of the game. And I haven't streamed Kanto 6 yet. So my intention is, when I eventually stream Kanto 6, I will make a Kanto 6 themed team, and that will be when I do my sinking run and like properly form that. Just hasn't happened yet. Okay. Oh, you've decided to wake up, have you? Fair enough. Oh, you took some damage. I thought it wasn't attacking you. Oh well. Alas. Only time thinking I shot you in the foot when it's... would that be Bamboo Hatted Kim? Perchance? Yep. When I came back to the game, Bamboo Hatted Kim in the Mirror Dungeon screwed me over because of me having a bunch of like sinking ego gifts and getting him with that, and that surprised me. So yeah, I feel your pain 100%. Grab that one. Do that. That. And with that, you kill off this one.
날카롭고 정확하게.
We'll stop Heathcliff and Hong Lu are just really fun to have together as a team, so like I've just been pairing them together constantly. Like basically ever since I've had them, like they've been a fairly common
예사롭지가 않은데? 아주
group for me. Yeah, they work well outside of boys, which is why they're They're part of a random bullshit team.
칼은 신나. 노래 부를까? 敵に対して
Because they support each other.
打撃を与えました。
40 먹지
I do not underestimate
優れた式です
the
ね。
power of simply fielding strong IDs. You don't have to build the synergy.
뭐야 이 수치는? 아까 어떤 직원이 제압 개체에 한 번에 입힌 피해량이야. 잠깐, 진짜? 왜 부서 팀장을 안 달아줬지?
Yeah. So do that. There, 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 and there. Okay.
사격
That being said, poise is quite fun.
이제 깨우치시겠어. 전부 찢어버리겠네! 효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
움직임이 어설퍼요.
아, 참.
다들 첫 여정을 시작했을 때보다 정말 강해지셨네요. 매일 보아하는데도 감회가 새로워요.
Right, that one.
제압 개체에게 맞는 정상적인
Alright,
공격이야.
so Hand and Saint has activated. Nether Sea Brand is in place, so we should take some time to go blast that at some point. Alright, so we'll just send you over there, that'll be fine. I don't have Butterfly Yisang in yet. But he is in reserve. All right. There. Hold on, let me just do that.
한 점만 노린다.
정확하게 지키기 위해서
사랑으로 정의 이름으로
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보란 맛이 난다. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답한 법이지.
훌륭하군요. 적에게 치명상을 입혔군요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠. 저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
Deactivate that one. Took down the biggest guy. Alright. No purples for a quadruple, sadly. Oh well, it's fine.
언제까지 버티나 보자고.
좋아.
QQ. Alright, so I've got our ad break. So we will take a pause here and return in a few minutes, okay?
개인적으로
Actually, no, hold on. Oh, we're getting close to the end of the stream actually, so I guess we won't be pausing here.
지킬 게 많거든.
We'll just keep on going. Besides, we got this.
정의보다도 푸른 자요, 사랑보다 붉은 자요. 운명 속에 파묻힌 그대 이름을 걸고 여기서 빛의 맹세하라. 우리 앞을 막는 증오스러운 존재들에게 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한 사랑의 힘을 보여줄 것을! 아르카나 슬레이버!
Basta.
훌륭한 제압 성과를 낸 직원일
Oh, hey, Poppy.
뿐이야.
Yeah.
효율적인 결과를 위해서
Like I said,
이쯤에서
she's a magical girl.
칭찬의 말을 건네줘도 좋을 것 같네요.
Got the Queen of Hatred in the name of Love and Hate.
없습니다.
It's she's got both the ID in the name of Love and Hate, as well as the ego in the name of Love and Hate. They're a paired ID ego combination. They're great. I love them. She does go a little bit Sayaka, however, when she goes insane. It's fine. You don't have to worry about that. She's fine. She's a good girl who can do nothing wrong. Actually, you're running out of fuel, aren't you? Sorry. Yeah, you can gain some fuel, I think. Go there and sure.
타겟 포착 1시 방향.
좋아. 시원하구만.
I mean, I can understand that, Poppy, 100%. I know there have been some gacha games where I've literally just logged in order to like get free currency and roll. Not because I played them, but just because I enjoyed like rolling the
기록적인 피해량인 것
characters.
같다.
Alright, well, we're about finished with this fight, so... And with that...
날카롭고 정확하게 바로 이제 깨우치시게.
좋아.
나랑 그랬을 거야.
아르카나 빛.
これがリンバスカンパニー
완벽한 승리 축하드립니다, 아가씨. 이 정도의 성과라면 4대 가문의 자제들도 인정할 수밖에 없을 겁니다.
좋은 수업 덕분이지.
그 정도 화력으로 우리 사무소를
이게?
막을 수 있을
Hey,
줄
we got
알았냐?
a big one over there for some extra currency. Beautiful. Yep, sea terra samples. Alright. Okay. So. We are going to stop here for now. Yeah, quickly do that. However, we will be playing some more Limbus Company tomorrow, where we will continue with the Arknights event and go into Rough Tides. So that'll be fun, won't it? I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Oh, sort of lovely imagery of the lighthouse and the storms going on over there. And the ship too. And the tentacles in the water. Alright. So yeah, we'll be doing some more Limbus Company tomorrow. But yeah, as I know that I had Super Robot Wars scheduled for tomorrow, but because we're still going through this one, and this one's actually on a timer, still got plenty of time left, but I want to get it done sooner rather than later, actually. So that's my reasoning, at least. Excuse me. Okay. So we'll wrap things up. And as for what we'll be doing for the rest of the week, well, probably depends on how long the conclusion of Limbus Company takes as well. If we finish that up in good time, I might get started on some Silent Hill F. I've never played Silent Hill before, but the fact that Silent Hill F is the story is written by Ryukishi, who did Higurashi and Umineko, means that I'm quite interested in checking that out. So, yeah, we'll get started on that. Probably won't finish it before I have to go and do some cat sitting for my mum. And I'll be stuck on my laptop, but we'll do what we can, okay? Now, let's go and raid somebody. And I think let's go and raid Wiki VT, who is playing some V Rising at the moment. So we'll pop in over there and go say hello, shall we? Alright. Thank you very much as always, and I hope to see you all next time. Okay? See ya!